Hello, and welcome back to the Battle Room. I'm, of course, the Battle Room, and today we have my top 8 set from the Seattle Regionals that took place this last weekend. So this is where it all comes down on the line, right? This is the most important set of the entire tournament, in my humble opinion. I mean, not really. Each set after this is so important, but this one's huge because this is the fucking trophy. This is the trophy match. This is what it's all about, dude. This is if you get to go home with a beautiful medal that you get from play Pokemon, or you go home with nothing. So in this set, I'll be up against Rob McNeilly. This is his first ever time on stream and his first ever time in Top Cut. So let's break down these teams and talk about it. All right, so we've got my team here. We got Ursaluna, Cresselia, Urshifu, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, and Incineroar. This team itself is just so flexible. I really feel like I can bring almost any combination of Pokemon and find success. I think the support that Amoonguss and Incineroar provide is incredible, but also the damage that Urshifu, Ursaluna, and Fluttermane provide is just unmatched. I just have insane damage potential, but also it's like you can almost see it. It's like the 3 damage dealers and then the 3 supports. And it's just enabling them, whether that's with Lunar Blessing healing, or Icy Wind speed control, or with Intimidate Fake Out, or with Rage Powder and Spore. I have endless options to find success in this game, or in any matchup, in any game. But specifically in this game as well, I feel like I can bring almost all 6 Pokemon. Maybe not Urshifu into what we're about to face, but yeah, I just feel like anything is possible, and it's just more of how do I enable my damage dealers with the help of my support Pokemon. And obviously the support Pokemon can go kind of crazy too, right? Cresselia can hit 4 times Ice Mons with Icy Wind and 3 KO them sometimes. Incineroar can get one-shots, and then obviously Amoonguss with Sludge Bomb can do a lot of damage. So it really is just about enabling my win condition and whatever I find that win condition to be. And in this case, that win condition to me is Fluttermane and Ursaluna. Going into this matchup, I feel like Flutter and Ursaluna are the 2 Pokemon that I could probably enable the most and get the most mileage out of. Obviously, Ursaluna can do a ton of damage, and so can Fluttermane, but they kind of need to have their conditions met, right? Fluttermane can't necessarily one-shot everything. Sometimes you need a little bit of chip. You need to slowly work them down so everything's in gleam range. Or with Ursaluna, you have to get it burned and in position, whether with speed control or with protection next to it. So those are going to be my main goals going into this. Now let's check out my opponent's team. So like I mentioned earlier, Chien-Pao Dragonite was something I was really afraid of. And at this point in the tournament, I've only played it once. I did play against Kian, who is one of the best Chien-Pao Dragonite players out there, a true Chien-Pao Dragonite main. But when we played, we were both guaranteed cut. I'm not going to say that he wasn't trying, but I don't think he was really trying, right? He had no reason to play that match at his hardest. Neither of us did because we're both guaranteed cut, and we did the math, and it is a top 16 cut perfectly. So I don't really want to take what happened in that match at face value or kind of use it in any way going into this one, even though the teams are pretty similar. But Kian did also lose to Rob, so I was going to be playing Chien-Pao Dragonite no matter which player won, and I kind of think I prefer this one. Kian had Landorus and Urshifu over Bolt and Ogerpon, so this was definitely a team I considered. If I had more time, I thought about bringing this team myself, but I just kind of felt I would stick with my guns and play with my Cresselia Ursaluna team. But Cresselia Ursaluna, I also think, is a little bit better into this. I think that Terra Steel Cresselia can go absolutely nuts in the right condition. I also think that Fluttermane, specifically, is my saving grace, because on the Tornadus Porygon 2 teams that I was considering, there was no Ghost type. There was no Pokemon that resisted Extreme Speed. But normally on those P2 teams, instead of Cresselia and Fluttermane, I would instead have Tornadus and Porygon 2, both of which don't resist normal types. Obviously, I could Terra Steel Tornadus, I could Terra Steel Urshifu, but I found in practice that it's still just ridiculously hard to beat this team. So I was really happy to have Cresselia and Fluttermane in this situation, and that was going to be my main, go-to fear. Going into this, I was really afraid of him leading Amoonguss plus Incineroar and potentially just going for a knockoff Spore onto any slot, because there's nothing I can really do to stop that play. I am going to sleep, and I'm going to have to eat those sleep turns. So that's something I'm super afraid of, and I really just haven't played against this team a lot in practice. I checked all my replays before the set, and I was like, oh my god, how did I not play this once and save the replays? But yeah, I think that is my main fear, is of course the Amoonguss Incineroar lead, and it's kind of up to whether or not he recognizes how good that lead is into my team. Because then I do have to deal with the Chien-Pao Dragonite potentially in the late game as well, which means I have to be very, very frugal with my resources, right? Like, I can't necessarily expend a Terra on Flutter to get some KO, because then Dragonite's going to pick it off, right? Or I got to be really careful with, an Ursaluna Terra, because then, Sucker Punch could pick me up, right? If I'm in the wrong situation. So I felt like I needed to be very careful and play very particular into this matchup. And again, the thing I'm afraid of the most is probably Amoonguss and Incineroar. And then I kind of expect the other three to be brought: Dragonite, Chien-Pao, or Ogerpon. I don't expect Bolt to be brought at all. Ursaluna is a huge threat. Fluttermane's a huge threat. And those are the two Pokemon I think he needs to disable from on my team and like make them like feel like non-impacts, and I just think Bolt doesn't do that. Like he's not helping with Ursaluna. Terra Electric ain't that great. So I was pretty sure he had 5 Pokemon he could realistically bring, and I kind of expected like the Amoonguss Incin with probably D-Night Pal in the back, if I had to guess. But then again, you never know, because I'm seeing it from, hundreds of games of practice, and I know that lead is frustrating and annoying, but he might not necessarily see or feel the same thing, right? Like, he might recognize maybe in game 2 that Incin Amoonguss is the lead. It kind of depends on how much practice he has, or if he's played against a team similar to mine. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally, and it's like, I think that I'm going to have to play around and potentially deal with Amoonguss Incin, but I really don't want to, because Cresselia on paper looks really good into them, right? Like, you get to spam Lunar Blessing, you wake up your partner, you go nuts. But the problem is that the minute those goggles are knocked off of Cresselia, that plan doesn't work anymore. And Cresselia is sleeping. It doesn't do that much damage to Amoonguss realistically. It does like 40% with Psychic. So it's not even like an offensively reliable way to deal with Amoonguss. So it's going to be coming down to mostly how well I can position Ursaluna and Cresselia, and how well I can get them going in the matchup. So right off the bat, he leads with Incin Amoonguss, which was my fear going into this, and I lead with Incin and Fluttermane. I kind of opted for like meet in the middle type of lead. Like, I'm afraid of this lead, and this lead is scary, but I didn't want to like all in and try to potentially counter lead him, which I don't necessarily even really have like there's no counter lead to Incin Amoonguss. It's just one of the best leads in the game. So right off the bat, I have a really strong feeling that he is going to probably go for knockoff Spore. But my fear, also a really important thing here, is that he's actually faster in Incineroar, which I found pretty weird, because normally I am the faster in Incineroar, but now I'm thinking, okay, he's like max speed. Good to know. Like, he is a very, very speedy Incineroar. So that does suck a little bit, because I do potentially threaten a lot more plays, right? Like, if he's not max speed in this situation, right, I can easily like fake out Amoonguss, switch to Ursaluna potentially, right? Obviously, he could punish that with a knockoff, or I could fake out Incineroar, switch to Cresselia, waste a turn sporing, or I could Terra Grass U-turn. There's a lot of options, but him being faster cuts that in half, right? Like, now he can just fake out my guy and Spore me, or he can just opt to go for knockoff Spore. So there's a lot of scary things he can do on this turn. So right off the bat, though, I decided to get a little crazy with it. I'm like, here's the deal. I think you're going to knock off Spore my Fluttermane slot, right? And I mean, you can see it in his cam, dude. Like, look at this, watch. He pops off pretty hard, right? Because he sees the Cresselia come in, and he's like, fuck yeah, I got the Spore, the knockoff Spore on Safety Goggles Cresselia. But I did opt for the double switch here. And I think the double switch actually ends up working really well in my favor, because bringing in Ursaluna here and getting it burned is all I need. So this feels so good. He obviously does get a knockoff Spore, which sucks. Like, Cresselia, like I mentioned in the teams, like, this sucks. This makes Cresselia a little bit worthless, but at the same time, I'm super down with the situation, because now I got to burn Ursaluna, right? And now it's about to do insane damage. So on this next turn, I consider Earthquaking, right? It's so juicy, right? I can get a huge damage onto Amoonguss, get some big damage onto Incineroar. I'm feeling good, right? But one important thing to note is I am max speed Ursaluna. So since I'm max speed Ursaluna, I am 2 speed slower than my Incineroar. So usually if my Incineroar outspeeds you, I kind of don't think that you're going to be in that range. But unfortunately, his Incineroar outspeed my Incineroar, so that means he's faster than my Ursaluna as well. So this turn is a little bit tricky, because this is the freest parting shot of his fucking life. Like, there's no better play to just parting shot me. So it is like, what value do I want to get out of this turn? What is he going to go into? So I do opt to go, I'm thinking about Earthquake. I actually lock in Earthquake as well, but I am going to go back. I'm like, no, not Earthquake. I'm going to go for Facade, because if I Earthquake here and he just parting shot goes to D-Knight, he goes to Ogre Pawn, I'm in kind of a bad spot. Cresselia is sleeping, Ursaluna's at -1, and I just didn't get much value out of the turn, right? So Cresselia has to burn a sleep turn here, and then now he's going to go for that free parting shot, like I mentioned, into Ursaluna. And now it's kind of a matter of what is he going into. I'm really happy I didn't press Earthquake here, because he is going to opt to go into Ogre Pawn, which is honestly, it would have been so bad had I just slammed the EQ. And I think it's just one of those things, like, you got to be on top of your targeting like this, right? And the Facade comes through, and it one-shots Ogre Pawn Water. I literally thought it was a crit. I did not know it could do that. He must have been so frail on that Ogre Pawn Water. And then he slaps me with a Sludge Bomb on a Cresselia, but at this point, I'm so down, right? Like, because we killed probably the biggest threat to Flutter Mane. I think Ogre Pawn Water is the scariest thing to Flutter Mane. So now he has Instant Amoonguss, and then he's got either Chien-Pao or D-Knight in my estimation. And I kind of feel like it's Chien-Pao at this point, because I don't know if you could go D-Knight without Chien-Pao, but I think Chien-Pao is also pretty good into my team. So at this point, I'm like, okay, he's got Chien-Pao in the back. Now it's time to start getting my value out of Ursaluna, right? I am at -2, but now it's time to start whittling down Amoonguss, because if I can get Amoonguss into range to feint, to either Dazzling Gleam or, in a perfect world, Dazzling Gleam, but also into Shadow Ball, I could really set up a nice Flutter Mane sweep here. And at this point, too, he doesn't want to parting shot anymore, because if he parting shots, he's going to give me free damage into Chien-Pao, which just breaks the sash. So the Speedy Instant is kind of biting him a little bit here. So he is going to opt for the Terra Fairy on Incineroar just to take this Earthquake as well as he can. Because again, parting shotting into a potential Chien-Pao is going to feel pretty bad. So Cresselia is going to eat a second sleep turn there. So that would have been a first turn wake. We do not get it. And he's just going to go for knockoff onto Ursaluna, which honestly was a pretty solid play from his end, because now I can't reliably heal Ursaluna anymore. If I heal it, I'm going to lose my boost. So I do go for Earthquake. It does actually nothing. And then Cresselia takes the Sludge Bomb there. One thing that's kind of interesting here is that was the first time Cresselia and Incineroar got to interact, because I think I pressed Trick Room on the first turn. But now we know that Cresselia is faster than his Incineroar, so he's not actually max speed Jolly, but most likely like a max speed Adamant. So I do get this second turn wake here, and I get a big Psychic off into Amoonguss, right? This is actually huge damage because he is Rocky Helmet. So he would have to switch to heal it off, and he is going to get the KO into Cresselia. But at this point, Cresselia, like, honestly, that Psychic was all she needed to do this game. She took a nap, watched Ursaluna do the damage, and then got the Psychic off. And then I am going to get a critical hit on Amoonguss to pick off Amoonguss here. And honestly, it tilted him pretty bad. Like, he was pretty upset about that one. And at this point, I think I'm chilling, right? Because I do have a full HP Incineroar and a full HP Flutter Mane in the back. But I'm never going to complain about a crit that, gets in your opponent's head. Like, I have no control over it, but I'll take it. And now I get the Intimidate off onto Chien-Pao. And what's really nice here is I know I have basically endless plays here. I could probably Flare Blitz the Incineroar. I can U-turn the Chien-Pao. I can kind of do whatever I want, but I think U-turning Chien-Pao makes the most sense because I don't think his Incineroar can KO my Ursaluna. And if I do get this U-turn off, I know I'm slower. So this is a guaranteed -2 on both his physical attackers. So that just kind of shores up the game even more so for my Flutter Mane in the back. So I go for the U-turn here, break the sash, and get another Intimidate. I think I'll take that. And at this point too, also, my Incineroar just like kind of wins the game, right? He's going to go for Sucker Punch. It doesn't do much damage, and he's going to follow it up with a Flare Blitz. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. I can just get this U-turn off and press Dazzling Gleam to win the game 1 here. So this game kind of went like, I wouldn't say to plan, because I really thought it was going to be more of a heavy Trick Room focus with Incineroar, Cresselia, and Ursaluna. I just kind of led Flutter Mane to just kind of put that pressure on a potential lead of Pow Knight or something crazy, right? So now I swap in Ursaluna and Flutter Mane, and I'm feeling pretty good here. Because again, at this point, Incineroar just wins by himself. He can Flare Blitz kill anything, and also Gleam just picks up everything. So even if he were to crit Flutter Mane, I still would be able to win there. I did a little fake out on my Flutter Mane for fun there, and I'm feeling pretty good. I was just trying to figure out what the most optimal lines of play were here, but it is just fake out dazzle, and then I can go for a flare blitz next turn. So it is just a safe, guaranteed play here. There's no downside to just pressing this. Because yeah, he used Terra, so we're feeling good. We're feeling good here, and yeah, I kind of felt like everything just went to plan. Well, again, not really to plan, but it just kind of went very smoothly. Especially removing Ogerpon was so big, because I think Ogerpon could have been really annoying, especially with the Pokemon that I brought. So getting Ogerpon on that turn 2, I kind of feel like the game was over at that point. Like Cresselia was sleeping. Like once I got burned on Ursaluna, didn't get knocked off there, and then I KO'd Ogerpon. I thought it was cooked. So going into game 2 here, I had one thought, and that he was going to lead Incin Amoonguss again. And I decided, in my head, I was like, you know what? Let's ego him. Let's play with our ego here. Let's mirror Incin Amoonguss. Because if I lead Incin Amoonguss and he leads Incin Amoonguss, I feel like I can just play better. I played better in game 1, so why not just play better in game 2 and just try to enable my Incin Amoonguss, like make him uncomfortable with it, right? Because I am the slower Incin, so I have that potential switch. I can be really obnoxious with my Terra Grass. That gives me a little bit of an advantage because I can go for Knockoff Spore into his Incineroar, but he can't do that to me. And there's this huge mind game of Terra Grass, right? Like, I kind of feel like my Incin Amoonguss is better than his Incin Amoonguss. So that was my entire thought process going into this game too. I spoiled the leads a little bit, but I wanted to let you guys know that I was like, I'm ready. I'm going to slam down the gauntlet, and we'll just see who plays better here. Because I do feel like that is his best lead, and he recognized it right away. So I was like, okay, we're going to be doing this every time, and I'm just going to need to play better every time. But I also don't really mind, because if he's bringing Incin Amoonguss, that means he's not bringing Powknight and Ogre. Which, I'm not going to say it's scarier, because Incin Amoonguss is scary. But I think Powknight and Ogre is, like, overwhelming. There's a lot more damage coming at me, instead of just, like, playing slow play around Amoonguss Incin. That's my preferred way to play. I'm so down for that. And so, in the back this game, I was thinking, I knew I wanted to lead Incin Amoonguss, because before the set, I was talking to my friend Raghav, and he was helping me, like, matchup prep, and he's like, dude, just follow your gut. So I said, my gut's telling me to lead Incin Amoonguss, and my gut is telling me to bring Fluttermane and Ursaluna in the back. Not something I did all tournament. It's something I'm like okay at doing, but I do usually like to bring Fluttermane or Ursaluna with Cresselia. But I was like, you know what? I think I can do it. I have Incin, I have Amoonguss. I can enable this bear to go absolutely nuts. So I lead Incin Amoonguss, and right off the bat, I'm like, dude, there's no way he's sporing my Incin, right? I'm up a game. This is his first ever top cut, his first ever time being on stream. I don't know about top cut, but first time in top 8, first time being on stream, I'm like, I know what to do. I'm going to go for Knockoff Spore into Incin, and I'm going to greed my Terra turn 1, because I think he might just Sludge Bomb Incin. If I'm him, I'm like, I'm down a game, I'm just going to Sludge Bomb the Incineroar. So I'm like, dude, there's no way you're sporing. So I just decide to go for the Knockoff Spore into his Incineroar turn 1. I do run the timer down, because I was a little bit afraid. But I was like, dude, it's time to lock in. It's time to go nuts with it. Wow, I actually really let the timer go in at 2 seconds. So he goes for parting here. And, you know, instantly I'm like, hell yeah. I'm knocking something off and sporing it? Life couldn't be better than this. What's it going to be? If it's Ogerpon, it does suck a bit, right? Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, Ogerpon comes in, kind of rough. But the parting shot also from him felt a little crazy, because he doesn't have... like, unless it's Ogerpon, he doesn't have much to switch into here. So he gets the parting, but now I'm just about to get a nice little knockoff Spore on a Chimpao, which it's not the best target to knock off Spore, but it's a target. I'll take it. That's a free Spore, right? Because he's not burning a sleep turn, and now Chimpao can't deal damage. And I broke its Sash, so life is pretty good here. And then he is going to go for Sludge Bomb, but it's actually into Amoonguss, which I thought was pretty crazy, but I did feel really, really good when I saw that. I was like, hell yeah, my little gambit paid off. Now it's up to me to figure out what I want to do. And then this turn, I was like, this is a really easy turn I think I can pull off here. I think he's going to go for a Spore into my Incineroar. So I'm going to do the classic grass type shuffle where you swap out your grass type and then you U-turn. So he does swap out Amoonguss though, which feels good for me. Like, I'm down. Like, it just means I get a burned Ursaluna, which is always amazing. And then now I'm able to U-turn into whatever I want. I can go into Fluttermane. I can go into Amoonguss. I believe I opt for Amoonguss just because I still want to, like, potentially just double back into, did I get a crit there? I do get a crit there onto Chimpao. This one, yeah, that one was fine. I think when Chienpao takes damage though, I don't think it matters how much, if he's at 1 HP or 99. I think we're chilling. But either way, the crit was nice, got him even lower, and now I get to bring in Amoonguss for free here. And now this turn, I actually take my foot off the gas here because I am really afraid of, like, if he gets a first turn wake, what am I doing, right? Like if he just goes for like a knockoff plus Ice Spinner into my Ursaluna, that would feel really, really bad. So I actually decide to play like super defensive here because I got Ursaluna burned. So that means for the rest of the game, I can switch in Ursaluna on Spores, which feels amazing. But right now, I'm like, I don't really want to like swing with Ursaluna. I'm afraid of a first turn wake. I don't want to take damage onto Amoonguss. I'm going to play extremely passively right here. So I opt to switch out Ursaluna. Yeah, I just do a complete gear shift here. Like, no, I was going crazy with it. I was going super aggressive. Now, playing slow. I get another Intimidate onto... Well, I get Intimidate on both these Pokemon, and I protect Amoonguss. I don't want to get Flare Blitz. I don't want any shenanigans to happen here. And he does actually get a first turn Wake onto his Chienpao, which he fires off the Ice Spinner into my Incineroar. So I'm really happy I did this play. And then I believe he goes for a Parting Shot into my Ursaluna as well. So this turn went pretty well for me, right? I dodged that first turn wake BS, and I repositioned my Incin. So now I have the Incineroar in against his threatening Pokemon. So, but he does get the pivot. He does get a good Parting Shot off, and he does go into Dragonite here. Because obviously if I went for Spore or something, he could have went into Amoonguss. I mean, Sporing the Safety Goggles would have been pretty nuts, but... Yeah, so he goes into D-Knight here. And now it's a little scary because I can't fake out Dragonite. Dragonite can just start E-speeding me and start going absolutely nuts. And it is a tiny bit spooky here. The D-Knight can go a little crazy style on me. So I don't remember what I went for here. I really don't. Did I just switch to Flutter and Spore? I guess that's pretty acceptable. I'm just waiting for myself to make the move here. Yeah, I go for this. I go for the switch and press Spore. I remember now. I predicted an E-Speed into Incineroar just to remove Incineroar, and then just an Ice Spinner into my Amoonguss. Because remember, my Amoonguss is at 1 HP right now, so it is a free. Not my Amoonguss. His Chienpao is at 1 HP. So if he does go for Ice Spinner, it will faint, and that would feel pretty good. So if I do get this Spore off, the game probably just ends. But he is actually opting for Protect. And once again, I did predict this E-Speed, but he actually decides to go... Oh, I go for Rage Powder. Okay, I go for Rage Powder to bring in my Flutter safely. Okay, I respect that. And then he actually goes for Outrage. So I actually just take this Outrage for free, which does suck a bit. But he does take the Rocky Helmet damage. And now I'm like, okay, he's going nuts, and my two Pokemon are probably slower than him. But I have an idea. A lot of Dragonites are not trained in speed. They usually are like max HP, max attack, maybe 12 speed. Because there's no real reason for speed when you're pressing E-Speed, right? So I'm thinking, hey, what if Incineroar is faster than your D-Knight? Like, what if you're not, like, you have like 4 speed on D-Knight? And so I'm able to abuse that and potentially knock you off with the Chienpao, right? So he actually opts to switch here into Incineroar. And I go for the Gleam and knockoff here. I do think this was a slight misplay. I think I should have probably just blitzed just in case he makes the play that he does. I go for the Gleam. It actually lands a critical hit onto D-Knight, and then the knockoff is faster, so he follows it up with the Wombo combo. D-Knight down, dude. D-Knight down. I think Flare Blitz Gleam probably would have got there. I also think maybe I was just supposed to Terra Fairy. I think that was the Terra Fairy turn. Just so I could get that damage onto D-Knight. Like, who cares about Fake Out later? I have Ursaluna in the back. I'm probably chilling. So I probably should have just went for the Terra Fairy. But either way, we get the crit, so it's down. And then at this point, it's just like, I'm just going to throw a U-turn and a Gleam, and like it just doesn't matter because Chienpao can't like a one-shot my Flutter Mane. I'm actually pretty decently bulky. I'm designed to take the Ice Spinner, so I'm like, all right, I'll just take the Ice Spinner. I'll hit you with a Gleam, and I should win the game from there because Ursaluna can clean up if Chienpao does in fact go down. And I still have Terra at this point as well, so he's actually gonna double back and switch out Chienpao, which is fine. That's okay, and then go into Amoonguss. and then I am gonna get this Gleam off though onto both of them, and I do crit the Incineroar as well. So Incineroar goes down, and then at this point, there's nothing he can really do. I get to safely go into my Ursaluna. I think I hit like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. And I crit Amoonguss for fun on the way out. I just got like 4 crits for no reason in this game. I got pretty lucky in that regard. I do think, though, I was probably kind of chilling. I think the crit on D-Knight was the big one. But even if I do get the knock there, there's a 50% chance that he just hits Flutter Mane. And also, Incineroar probably lives without the Choice Band on. So, I don't know if it, like, completely ruined his chances of winning. Well, it ruined his chances of winning 100%. But, like, I think I probably still had it. But either way, we get the crits, and at this point, you know, it's just over. I just get to rip a Dazzling Gleam Facade, because as long as Chiempao goes down, I win, and Chiempao cannot kill both Pokemon, and he has to attack with Chiempao to stop me from hitting him with Facade. So there's literally nothing he can do to win this game, and Incineroar is way too healthy in the back. So at this point, I'm in top 4, baby. I got the medal. We get to continue on, and I honestly couldn't be happier. The games were a little nasty. The second one was pretty crit heavy. I think, yeah, 4 crits was absolutely insane. Like, I don't know how I got all those crits. And then Ursaluna just eats this Ice Spinner anyways, and then we are going to pick him up with the Gleam. Yeah, 4 crits was absurd, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's Pokemon. We take those. And, yeah, I mean, I was really afraid of this matchup, but it felt much more doable when I was in the game. Like, I felt like the last 2 matchups were so scary in Team Preview, and then when we got into game, I was like, oh, I have full control here. I know what I'm doing. I know how to play the team, and I can just lock in and take the games, right? So we take those wins. I feel good about it. I'm really happy with another top 4. I really wanted this tournament to be like my farewell to Scarlet and Violet. So I was really happy that at worst I was getting top 4 in my last Scarlet and Violet tournament with one of my favorite teams I've ever played. So I was just thrilled to be in top 4 of this tournament, and to end my potential last Scarlet and Violet tournament like this. We'll have to see with the release of Champions. But either way, I really was happy here. And the crits, man. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed me breaking it down. And, oh yeah, there we go. I was happy about that one. But yeah, top 4 will be tomorrow. So if you want to check that one out, please like, subscribe, and we'll keep them coming. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. I got to meet so many of you at the tournament. It was so awesome. One of the people who wanted to come up with me just gave me socks, like just free socks. Like, everyone was so sweet and so nice, and so I'm happy that you know, I'm always happy to meet you guys, and I'm really happy that you guys enjoy the content. So we'll see you tomorrow with top 4. Peace.